So, hi. How are you doing,
Hi,
Rob?
Paige.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see
Um,
you too.
we've got Rob Ichelson. He is located in New York City, moved there in 99 from Calgary, Alberta, which is where we know each other from. And we thought it would be amazing to get his perspective on this COVID pandemic and get some perspective on what it's like living there so that us here in Vancouver could get some perspective. So tell us about the moment when COVID-19 hit. Do you remember that moment for you at work? And can you just describe that, how it all rolled out for you?
Sure. So for us, it was really weird because obviously, just like you, we had been watching and hearing and listening to the news, and as a lead up to 2020 has been a crazy year for us. We've had a lot of travel and a lot of work stuff, and while it was heating up in China, we were on our way to on a ski trip to Europe, which was the third week of February. And it just so happens that we were in the north of Italy. And so the third week of February, we found ourselves in Courmayeur, which is about 2.5 hours north of Milan. So we flew through Milan. We went up to this small ski town and we were skiing there. It was an epic week. We had the most incredible time. We were there for, I think, 6 or 7 days. And it was on the last night that we were there that we started hearing that the coronavirus was hitting Italy in sort of a pronounced way. And we were on a ski trip. We really didn't think too much of it. And so I think it was the next day or 2 days later, we flew home to New York, but we flew home via Milan. So here we were. We got in a car and we drove from Courmayeur to Milan, and the airport was packed with people. Like, I don't know if you've ever flown through Milan, but it's a busy airport, and this was, it was a busy day there too. And there was thousands and thousands and thousands of people moving through the airport there. We got on the plane and we flew home, and it was back to business. So the next week I went to work, which was, I guess, the last week of February. And the news started to pick up and people started asking me, hey, weren't you just in Italy? And I'm like, yeah, we were just in Italy, but I'm fine. My family's fine. We were with two other families as well, and they're all New York based, and they too had no symptoms at all. And then as the news started to pick up and it started to spread, I think it was March 13th that my office decided, we're completely closed. And never in a million years did I think that on March 13th, which was a Friday, the 13th, which is obviously,
Weird.
cliche and weird. Yeah. We never in a million years did we think that we were leaving the office and we weren't going to return. And now it's 5 or 6 weeks later. I mean, nobody even knows how long it's been. It's just such an insane thing. And we've been quarantined here in our apartment on the Upper West Side of Manhattan, which is a ghost town. If I don't know if you've ever spent much time in New York City, but it is, even in our neighborhood, which we consider to be pretty much residential, it's usually crawling with people, and it is a ghost town.
So we've heard from people that know people in New York that basically everything's shut down, doors are closed. You've come back from your trip from Italy. You've worked 1 week. How much preparation did you have? Like, how did you prepare your family for being quarantined in your house?
We had no preparation at all. The kids thought they were going to go back to school. They closed our office. The de Blasio hadn't yet shut down the school system in New York. The kids thought they were going back to school on Monday. They didn't go back to school on Monday. There was no preparation of any kind. Zero. So your question is none. The answer is none. No prep. We've just been here since then.
No one goes outside. Sorry, go ahead.
No, of course we go outside. The guys were out today, and we have a dog, and the dog has to go out. And when I tell you that it's a ghost town where we live, I mean, it really is. It's shocking to go outside and literally see, no one. If we go out and walk the dog tonight at 9:00, we live on Central Park West and 73rd Street. We will see 6 people total.
And is everyone wearing masks? And do you have a sense of fear, or when you go outside, you're like, I gotta live my life?
So, we didn't run away from New York City after 9/11. We lived through it, and we were living in the West Village at the time. So we were about a mile away from Ground Zero. And my wife is Canadian also. And we love it here, and we raised our kids here, and New York has been very, very good to us. I will tell you in all honesty and sincerity that this has really affected me in a big way. I don't understand it, and it's very, very confusing. And it's not about New York City, it's just about the United States of America. And at the moment, I'm feeling a little bit turned off by the whole thing. Am I scared to go outside? No, there's nobody out there. And when I tell you that where we are relative to Manhattan and the 5 boroughs of New York City and New York State in general, we're actually in a really good spot. The incidence of coronavirus in our zip code and our neighborhood is extremely low relative to the rest of New York. But when I say that with a little bit of shame too, because we fortunately live in an affluent neighborhood where we have stayed, but a lot of people have left. And the reason that a lot of people have left is because they have second homes or they have family that's close by. And it's easier to have a white-collar job, be able to work from home, be able to get paid in our situation than it is for other people. And that's no different than it is in Vancouver, but it is more pronounced here because of the prevalence of what's going on. And so that is, very, very humbling and awful and strange and weird. And we're just coming to terms with that. Look, are we okay? Yes. Are we going to be okay? Yes. If things got really, really, really bad. And I think the worst of it is behind us for now. Then we would have got the hell out of here. And we haven't. And so our kids are incredibly resilient. I mean, we're so blessed to have these kids. They're amazing. Their world has been turned upside down. And I don't know how us as mature adults who are somewhat responsible are getting through it, but how our teenage children are getting through it is truly remarkable. But they are, and that's a testament to a couple of things. One, the Department of Education has stood up a remote curriculum that is seemingly amazing. They get up in the morning at 8:30 and they've got school all day long. And when they don't have school, they do things that is not school-based. They play video games and watch Netflix. And this generation of people is completely and totally self-reliant. When we think that these kids, they don't know what it's like in the real world, they don't, but they also have an incredible ability to self-rely. And while that may be technology-based, maybe that's a good thing. And I'm seeing a tremendous advantage in that. And the more that they do, the better. Rory is sitting here on the couch. He's barely listening to what I'm saying, but he's doing an art project on an iPad. And is that what you're doing right now? Yeah, he's painting something on his iPad, which, is incredible. He's able to self-regulate and keep himself busy under the circumstances. And we're grateful for that. Just like I'm sure you're grateful for the same thing with your children where you guys are.
things will change once this quarantine lifts? How do you foresee the future?
So, you know, I'm in a creative business. You know, I work in the advertising business, and while I don't work at a third-party advertising agency at the moment, I work at an in-house advertising agency, and it has been an incredible. I don't know what the right word is. It's been amazing to see how easy it's been for us to set up a remote advertising agency. It is absolutely amazing. And we're about 125 people. Every day we have a status meeting that starts off the day, and we only talk about those things that are the most important things that we have to get done for the day. And that's what we focus on. We don't let any noise get in the way of that. That's been incredible. We have a digital project management system, which has been really advantageous. And so I do think that through the power of technology, this is going to be game changing in terms of what it means for commercial real estate and business travel. And, you know, from that standpoint, I do think it is going to be game changing. Do I think the kids need to be in a classroom? Yes. Do I think that colleges need to have giant lecture halls? No. And so I think that
Governor?
being the governor, this guy is really, really impressive, and he's got a way of communicating that is very, very, very good. And we watch him every day without fail.
Yeah.
He's
Do you
been
think
great.
he'll run for president?
He won't run for president. And as you know, as much as it pains me to say it, you know, we've got another 4 years of this nonsense. And that part of it, and I go back to what I was saying earlier in the call, you know, if I'm soured because of this, I'm not soured on New York City. I'm soured on the United States of America. And there's, you know, we're Canadians. You know, my wife is Canadian, and the boys, by nature of the fact that we're both still Canadian citizens, they have Canadian citizenship. We're also American citizens. The United States doesn't recognize dual citizenship. Canada does. And so, you know, when the border opens up, we have the option of coming back. And I'm not saying that we're coming back this minute. And our apartment that previously was a good investment and no longer is concerning,
Yeah.
but we'll do what's right for our family.
And just to end, Rob, what do you think the silver lining is in all of this?
Kids are very likely spoiled, and they're down to earth, and they're all good kids, and they've all got a good sense of self-worth, but they're spoiled, and they are going to look back on this time as a game changer for them. And I think while it may not happen this second, there's a lot of appreciation.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope they get that.
Awesome. Thank you, Rob. Oh my goodness. This always happens to us. We start to have a meltdown and cry. So thank you.
But I will say this, you know, it's emotional what's going on. It's got a lot of stuff, and you know, I just hope that we're better from it, and I think we will be. I honestly do. I think we'll be better. Do I want to go back to everything the way that it used to be? Yeah, of course I do, but there's some stuff here that's gonna really really affect us for a long time, and I hope it's for the better. I'm sure it is going to be for the better.